All right, so welcome to Intuition to Income 2022. And I have a returning guest and dear friend who is living in prosperity and intuition and has been for years. She's like had $1 million. I think she's getting it back up to that again. I mean, she just goes like on and on. That's the thing I was thinking about you, Anna, actually, when I was at the beach. I was like, this woman doesn't really define her life by external. She's creating it from within and then continues to have results. And to me,
Mm,
that is the deepest level of prosperity because it's a way of being. And so
yeah,
that's one of the things that I really want to chat with you about, and also how you're able to receive this abundance. Because I know it's the way you think, it's the way you be, it's who you are. All
yeah,
these like underlying components create success. So,
yeah.
welcome, Anna Kowalska. I love you so much. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome
Thank
back.
you, Abby. Oh my gosh. So first of all, I love talking about money. Like prosperity is a big topic to begin with, right? Like being prosperous is a
Yeah,
state of being. I love that we're going to talk about that, right? Being
yeah,
prosperous is a state of being. I
yeah.
mean, if you read and I'm going to say things that are inappropriate a little bit, but that's okay.
It is, of course.
Old white dudes were saying this a century ago. A prosperity. So I apologize if I offended anybody. Old white dudes, because it's like, right? It's like that's who wrote books about it. Last time we were in the country was in depression, right? Like, and I'm so gonna talk about that. I'm not gonna sugarcoat where we are and why we get to shift our prosperity and why intuition is so important and why income is so important. So prosperity is absolutely a state of being. It just is, right? So I would just let's just go into it, right?
Yes, yeah. Let's dive in.
Just dive
Push
in,
the love,
right?
baby. Let's
Yeah, let's
go.
go. So, like you said, so first of all, let me even back it out a little more. I grew up in a communist country. There wasn't much of a talk about money. And if there was any talk about money, it was, there is not enough. And you make your salary and then there wasn't even savings. Like government decided how much taxes you pay and they just give you what's left over. And I have like images of money stacked up and and that was all the money we had because you don't put everything in a bank, like all this warped stuff about money, right? And like my grandma would send us $5 in a card for birthday, but then it would get ripped open at the post office, money taken out. So every time she'd send, oh yeah, every time she'd send it, you never send a lot of money. So $5 may not seem like a lot, but it actually was a lot back then in Poland. And like people could just open up the envelope and steal your money and then seal it back up very obviously and put it back in the mail to you. When you got it, you're like, there's nothing you can do. Like literally that's how I grew up. And then I come to America and I very quickly I became a multimillionaire. I started living this life that it just didn't make any sense to me, but it felt really good. It's a really good feeling, but at the same time very confusing feeling because nobody ever taught me what to do with that much abundance. Nobody ever educated me on how to be around it. All of a sudden the people I was around were very different. There were people who are used to having different conversations about money. So all of a sudden, I'm like, I don't know what to do with all of this. So I had it, I lost it, I had it, I lost it 3 times. And finally I was like, no matter how much I have it or how it comes, there's something missing. And the missing piece for me, fast forward, was the connection to spirit, um, creating prosperity in a way that was connected to something bigger than just having money. So I learned that I really liked having a lot of money, but I really also liked how it came in, what I do with it. Like I liked knowing all of that, which I never had education about it. So now here we are, right? 2022. And the world is changing like literally in warp speed, right? An economy is changing at a warp speed. And people are getting super rich on Bitcoin one day and the next day it's all at the bottom. By the way, I still have money in Bitcoin because I believe that's part of the future, not all of it, but part of the future. All alternative sources of income that doesn't look like money that we have right now. The biggest thing underneath it is that we have to heal whatever we have about exchanging our energy, not time, our energy for money,
Mhm.
and making it okay to receive it,
Yeah,
right?
totally. An exchange. Yep.
Yeah. So when I started to learn that, okay, so now there is this thing called purpose. So when I do something that fulfills me, that's aligned with, now I start learning different language, right? it's aligned with my higher self, it's aligned with my soul's intention for my
Yeah.
living in this incarnation, all of a sudden it feels different, right?
Yeah.
But with it comes all of this stuff, and for me it came from prior lifetimes. I was in I was a version of nun many times, where I swore off all the, physical goodness, right? Money was no good and all of that. And many other incarnations where I struggled for it, and incarnations where I didn't do good with it. So I learned that money, it serves, but not everybody, and it brings death, all of that, right? So when I started to tap into my intuition around money, my spirit around money, my soul purpose around money, all of that started coming up to the surface, like all of these past lifetimes, things that weren't even mine, right? So I know we spoke about this. I'm sure you talk about it in so many different ways. Women used to be prosecuted with the money that they used to have, and we carry it in our bones, right? And it's really worth repeating that just a few decades ago, women couldn't even have their own bank account. There are still countries on this planet where women cannot have their own money, right? So, and we carry it, like it's all in the frequency, and we healing it. And I call money the last frontier, because it's how we're going to heal the last aspects of our wounds, right? Wounds around having, receiving, right? Being worthy of it. And the biggest one is that our frequency, the energy that flows through us, that's unique to us, that becomes our soul purpose expression, is actually worth something to somebody, a lot of different people. And it could be worth a lot if we are aligned with it. And now the more that we stand in the value of it, the more people see the value in it. So one, they are willing to pay for it, but two, they expand as they pay for it. And now we are attracting and approaching money from a very different perspective, right?
So you're saying they expand as they pay for it. Is that what you
Yeah,
said? Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
Right? Because think
Oh,
about it.
I've noticed it with my clients. I'll be like, wow, okay. Like, do I charge this? And then I do, and they get these huge results. Like, they're so busy, they hardly have time for their own sessions. And I'm like, wow, it
Yeah,
works because there's a frequency. And I think it is in value, right? It's exponential almost, it feels like.
yeah.
It's like, hey, I see the value. Also, I know I'm worth it. And in that exchange,
Mhm.
we're both going to expand. So it's such a
Yep.
gift to stand in the value of who we are and the spiritual essence. To me, I love that you brought that up because I feel like that is priceless. And to stand in that energy and actually say, hey, I'm willing to exchange some of my valuable energy because this valuable energy is going to help you. And
Yeah.
I actually believe in you. And thank you for believing in me. And let's do this, right? Like
Yeah.
that should be our mantra, Anna. Let's do this. It's
Right?
kind of like together we fly, like
Yeah.
literally, like I
Yeah.
feel it, right? So I would love for you to just, yeah, keep expanding this conversation because it's fun, right? It's the opposite of the lack of, oh, there's not enough or I'm not worth it. It's like there is enough.
Yeah.
I am worth it.
Yeah.
You're worth it. How do we do this together?
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. And it all, if the person like you and I are in a right frame of mind and a right frame of
Yeah.
energy, emotion, frequency around it, right? Then when we offer something into the world and you're like, listen, this is what I do, this is how I can help you. And not from a place of selling or convincing, but from a place of inviting and standing in value,
Right.
right?
Right.
Then the person that is exchanging money for it, they can tune into, oh, you mean, and this is a whole mindset shift. I'm not giving up anything like the amount of money. I'm not sacrificing something for it, right? What I'm actually doing is I'm saying to my higher self, the spirit that flows through me, I'm
Right.
saying I value this too, and I
Yeah.
value me,
Right.
right? They
Right.
can stand in
Right.
that space,
Yep. Yep.
right? That's how the expansion happens. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's recognizing they want what you have.
Yeah.
There's something with that, right? Because it's
Yeah.
a voluntarily thing. It's like, wow,
Mhm.
I want that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Totally.
want my version of it too, right? So I'm going to add on to that. I want my version of it, right? Like I want whatever you have, my own version of it, because everybody will be different. That's the beauty of it, right? Like once we get into the guiding your business and receiving money intuitively, it is in the exchange, because I really truly believe in exchange. I really laugh at where I was years ago when I started learning about law of attraction. And I just did a workshop a couple days ago and I still mock it. And I mock it to this point, but I did it. I had this vision that if I did certain things in the right way, the money would just show up. So I'm going to make fun of some rituals. By the way, I really believe in rituals. I really do. But then I'm going to add a piece to it. Okay. So I would take baths in parsley and rosemary, and I would clog my bathtub with all the herbs, right? I would, not totally laughing here, spin to the left 15 times, spin to the right 3 times, say something particular 20 times, right? And if the wind blew the right way, I would open up my closet and there would be a pot of gold sitting in it. Like I literally believe that these things would happen. I absolutely believe in rituals. I really do, because rituals start embedding something in us. They start shifting our perception and our mindset
Yeah.
and our cells. So I believe in
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
The missing piece is that at the time, what I didn't understand was that the exchange has to happen. The exchange must happen, right? So I have to be willing to create and contribute in some way that then makes the money come back to me,
Yeah.
right? Now, how it does come back, it's all a matter of what are you willing to hold the space for, right? Are you willing to hold the space that you serve one client and all the money comes to this client? It could happen. Are you willing to hold a space that you have to serve a lot of people for a very little money because your gifts are from God, so you should never charge for them? Well, you're gonna work really, really hard,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like I truly believe that there must be an exchange, and it doesn't have to be consistently. You can create something once and put something online that earns you money over and over again. You still keep yourself in a frequency of receiving and a frequency of exchange. You don't just completely, like, I don't believe in total passive income. I believe the energy always gets to be sustained.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can
Totally.
create something that pays you over and over, but don't call it a passive income, because that's a lie. I don't believe it. And anybody who says a passive income, I don't think they've ever really created anything that, like, they have. And I don't want to offend people.
Yeah.
There is always, and that's why we're here to contribute and exchange our energy and our frequency and our gifts for what it is that we need and desire, which it could be anything, but money is the thing that's really useful, because then you can choose what to do with it.
Right. Yeah. No, 100%. I can't stop thinking about this because it just makes me smile every time I think about it. So I remember a couple of years ago when I moved from Oregon to California, I called you
Mhm.
on the phone and you were like, Abby, there is no other option than to succeed. It was like one of the most powerful things anybody's ever told me. And I believed you because I felt it was true. And to me, that's one of the reasons I say intuition, follow it, because it's a truth within you. And so when
Mhm.
somebody says something that's true, they're like, yeah, that's true. I
Yeah.
believe you because it is. And if everybody could just take on that belief that like success is the only option, like you said
Yeah.
something like that, like that's the only option, Abby. And
Yeah.
I was like, you're right. Like we're going no matter what. Like this is happening. And it was like literally the life force moved me. I mean, I swear to you, the next day, the whole city, like the like 20 miles from it, burned down. Like my guides were like, leave
Mhm.
today, tomorrow it's done. And it was
Wow.
like, bam. So it's just like when the force of like spirit, universe, whatever you want to call it, is with you through your intuition,
Mhm.
you're being moved by
Yeah.
something greater than you, which is what you were talking
Yes.
about. And then
Yeah.
that exchange of let's call it your gifts. Like that's why I teach the Intuitive Success Club. It's like your spiritual gifts, I truly believe, are meant to be monetized
Yeah.
because it allows you to support yourself and other people. And
Yeah.
that's the exchange of money, right? Like you do it for good. So
Yeah.
I'm like, huh, like what if everybody did that? Like
Yeah.
what a happy, joyful world.
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
living in love.
Right.
You
Yeah.
believe you can, right? Then if you take on this belief that success is the only option, because I swear it really is about believing that you can. Like I talked to somebody like a month ago and I was like, hey, basically you need a business to support what you do. And it was like the belief that like, could he actually let go of his job to see himself having a
Mm.
business to support him? He's like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't really want to like, do a business. And I'm like, well, you kind of need it to support you doing what your purpose is because you don't
Yeah.
like your job. So
Yeah.
you might as well shift your
Yeah.
energy into believing that you actually can. Because
Yeah.
I think if we all knew it's not hard, you could serve doing what you love, everybody would want to have their own business. It's the beliefs and the idea of maybe struggle that people are like, oh, some people maybe not. But if you are one of those people that think, oh, having a business is hard, I'm not going to be able to do it, I'm going to have to struggle, of course, that wouldn't be attractive. But if you
Hmm.
actually have a belief like success is inevitable, I
Yeah.
can get paid for my gifts, I can
Yeah.
serve people, and it will provide a life that I love. Hello,
Yeah.
everybody. Like, I'm like, welcome to the Intuitive Success Club. Let's go.
Yeah.
And your stuff too, everybody. Like, that's why I
Yeah.
bring my friends on these shows because I'm like, hey, like, we're doing it. Let's keep flying, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
So, what do you feel
totally.
about that?
Yeah. And it doesn't mean it doesn't come with challenges, right? Because every time, right? Like every time where
Yeah.
I shift or I go to the next level,
Mhm.
there, like I meet myself again, right? Like we meet ourselves over and
Yeah,
over again, right? So we're
totally.
like, so people are in this like belief. I think a lot of people are in a belief that whoa, like help me get rid of this belief about money so I can have a lot of it. I don't really understand that you don't understand what you're asking about. Like it's a tool that consistently to me, it consistently helps me up level who I am by showing me the places where I still don't believe the next level. I don't believe who I am, right? So
Great.
so
Uh-huh.
it
Good
doesn't,
point.
it's not challenge free at some point,
Yeah.
but challenges are, I welcome challenges, right? Like I know you do too. I no longer resist them. I'm no longer afraid of it. I'm like, bring it. I make an offer, nobody likes it. All right, great. Well, that didn't work. Let me try something else, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like I was just talking to, actually, I was telling you, one of my clients is doing this
mhm,
manifestation challenge, and she says, like a new level is a new devil, because it's like it's a
right.
next, and you're just like,
Yeah.
shoot, but she's
Yeah.
right, because you're
Yeah.
kind of like, yeah, you get to a certain level, it's like comfortable and easy, and then you're like, oh, well, actually I want to go there. Okay,
Yeah.
what beliefs are you going to confront? And almost I want to create a discernment between you and your beliefs. So what if your beliefs were just something that kind of got programmed into a computer, as a
Yeah.
metaphor, right,
Mhm.
that isn't really you, but something that you have to overcome and release and be like, delete that, and are
Yeah.
actually going to upgrade to this new level, and that belief system will actually sustain the new level. So, what new
Yeah.
beliefs do you need to have that will sustain your new level of success? That's really
Yeah.
the right question.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I consistently immerse myself in books and reading, being around people who really have that kind of a mindset. They believe that it's possible. They believe they can do it. They believe they can have it, right? Even if there is some discomfort or challenge or whatever, they're like, you know what? One of my mentors says this thing: I don't know how to solve this, but somebody does. I don't
Yeah.
know how to solve this, but somebody does. And then she'll be in a space of receiving, of guidance. Who can I
Mm,
call? Who can I ask? Somebody knows how to solve this, right? And then
yeah.
she will get an insight. Oh, call this person. So yeah. And you know what, Abby? It's like with people who have jobs. I've been saying this for a while, and now other people are saying it too. And I'm not saying I created it. I heard it in a, in an ether.
We don't.
Everybody, exactly, everybody, no matter if you have a job, if you on, oh my gosh, and especially like there are so many people that are on government support, like
Mm,
with where things are, we really truly don't know where it's going to go. And it's like, it's not doom and gloom, but literally our structures are falling apart. They cannot sustain where we are going as humanity, right?
huh,
So they cannot, because there are some systems that will support those who really truly need it, but a lot of people are being supported that really could thrive if they were given the right environment. So but let's just stick with somebody who has a job. Like it or not, you have a job. Let's say you like it, all right? You better start thinking like a business owner, like an entrepreneur, because that job may disappear tomorrow. You may be eliminated because that company will have to pivot. You'd never know. The
yeah.
days of like, I have this job and it keeps me safe are over. They
Yeah.
are. So even if you love working with a company, and it's like, how can we not see that? There's nothing wrong with corporate. I don't think there's nothing wrong with corporations. I don't think they're going away. I think that corporations will get to shift their consciousness and start doing things differently, and a lot of them already are. Some people are meant to work in that environment, but even in that environment, we get to start looking at things differently. Like, this job doesn't pay me. I exchange my energy for this job.
Right.
And if I start looking at it this way, like, I work for this company that has a vision. I buy into this vision, which is what we do with our business, right? Like, I buy into my vision, and now I serve my business. My business is its own entity outside of me, and I serve my business. it's so freeing, by the way, to start looking at business that way. I serve my business, that my business serves my clients, right?
Yeah.
Now it's mine. I still get to say how it goes because
Yeah.
it's mine,
Totally.
right?
I love this, Anna. I get so much from our conversations. I just gotta say, like, it uplifts me. And I think that's the beauty of raising each other vibrationally. Like, even
Yeah,
this is an exchange, right? And everybody listening, we're actually exchanging with you because we believe in you. We believe in the concept, right? So I just want to reiterate, because it's just the clearest message to me, is your business, the money is an exchange. So your business is an
yeah.
exchange of energy.
Hmm.
And what I want to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but money is actually the energy that follows the exchange. It's the physical manifestation of the energetic exchange
Yeah,
between two people, or a business and a person, right? Because, like,
yeah.
I mean, there's multiple teams. Like, I have a team that I
Hmm.
coach. So it's like, it may be multiple people, but it's still energy,
Yeah,
right? And so, really, like, if everybody can feel that you're valuable, you have energy, that energy is worthy of exchange. When you decide to monetize it, money will follow it. That's what
yeah,
monetizing it means,
yeah.
right? And
Hmm.
I feel like it is the wave of the future, because even as your business, right? Like, clients, like, I mean, most of them are like for a year, however long, but like they can, come in and out. I mean, I have people for years that follow me. You probably do too, but it's like, my point is, it can, what is the word where you can get new ones, and, other ones
Yeah,
come in, right? They can
yeah.
flow, right? So
Hmm.
I'm just saying, like, it's going to be, the sustainability is going to be in your way of being. That's the other thing that
Yes,
I want to highlight, right? Like,
yes,
and maybe
yes.
even practices, the way
Yeah,
of being. I told my partner, I'm like, it's a way of being. I was like, by the way, hon, like, my personal life is my professional life. Like, my clients are my best friends. And he's like, he's a teacher for a living. And he's just kind of like, what? Like, my
yeah,
personal life is private, It's like, share
yeah,
it on the inside story. And I'm like, okay. But it's like, the whole point is, like, I need to be who I am to
yeah,
be business. And I feel
yeah,
like if everybody can love who they are and realize that
yeah,
that's enough,
yeah.
you can be paid for it.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's talk about receiving. And I forgot to ask you how much time we have. Totally didn't even ask you. So
Oh, usually it's
stop
an hour,
me.
whatever you want.
Okay.
I know, it's just how we are, right? Like, we could just, like, you need to come over here, and we just need to talk all day and
I know.
record it.
Right? And you guys can participate.
Yeah,
So,
exactly,
yeah, so
exactly.
good. So here's the thing about receiving, right?
Yeah,
Once we, and yeah, there's this cool conversation. I love myself enough to receive it, right? I value myself enough to receive it, right?
yeah,
And there was,
yeah,
when you asked me about receiving, something came in, and I want to make sure that, like, because I don't
yeah,
want to say things that are obvious. I want to say things that really will touch us in the right places.
yeah,
We must get comfortable with having. We must get comfortable with this whole idea of being stewards of money, right? Like, we must get comfortable, and it really is what it's about, right? Like, so many of us have this uneasiness about money. That's why people are broke, right? Because they're, and I still have layers of healing of that for myself, right? Of like, how much am I willing to be a steward of, right? What else do I need to learn to feel like a steward, and what identity do I get to take on as a steward of money to be in the world in the way that I really know I can be, right? So it's discomfort. And for women, I
yeah.
mean, like I said at the beginning, women were prosecuted for being witches if they owned land or property that was handed over to them, and then the land or property was sold, and they were tortured with the money that was profited from, that was used to pay the torturer, like, literally. That's
Ah,
what history
crazy.
tells us. So we
Wow.
carry that, right? And then for how long we learned that money isn't ours, that it's the husband's, right? Because that's how, I'm not saying that's how we are anymore, but we carry that frequency. We can't have our own, you can't have your bank. Just the fact that we couldn't have our own bank accounts just a few decades ago, right? Or was it like 1950s when women could start, or maybe like even 70s? I know it
Wow.
wasn't a long time ago that women
Wow.
couldn't have their own bank accounts, right, in America. That's a frequency that still lives in the ether, that somewhere lives in our being, right? And lives, and if it's not part of your conscious belief, it is part of our ancestral belief that still lives in us, that we don't even know that it's dangerous to have money. So you will only receive exactly what you need because that's safe, right? Like, you can get through the belief enough to say, I need what I need so I can pay my rent, the mortgage, I can buy my food, I can drive whatever car I can drive, not dare you not ask for more. And then there is this whole other layer where we actually vilified, especially women who have a lot of money. We vilified them, right? Like how many, and this happens all the time. I'm not gonna say still, it happens all the time. It's not a new thing, but it happens a lot. Where if a woman is successful, we get jealous and we try to rip her down, whether obviously on social media and say things about her, or behind the scenes and behind her back. We talk things, right? And you may not do it, I may not do it, but a lot of women still do. There is this jealousy of a woman who has created something in her life and is at a certain place, financially, status wise, or she's making a certain impact. All the women who haven't healed their wounds, whether they like it or not, are standing in a place of like, who did she sleep with? How did she get there? Who helped her? Oh, she had, the best one is, oh, she has a husband. He must be helping her, right? Like, but we do it because we're scared that it couldn't happen to us, that if or for us, that if it that happened for us, we would be ripped down, that if it happens for us and then we lose it. I mean, that was my thing. I'm like, I don't want to go through the pain of when, and I literally gave it up, but it happened in a weird way. So I experienced not having it. And I'm like, oh my God, I never want to have more than I need because I don't want to feel the pain of not having it and how people look at me with pity.
Mhm.
Right? So there's all these reasons why we are afraid of receiving, right? What it will mean about us. What will it mean about me when I have all this money to steward now? And okay, another layer, ready for this? It's a responsibility, making smart choices. Will I be smart with it? So right now, economy is changing like crazy. What if you did put your money in Bitcoin and you lost it? And now forever you're going, if you don't do some work around it, you're going to say either, oh my God, great, I didn't have enough money to invest in it because I didn't lose it. You're going to say that to yourself. That's going to sit in your body. A great idea. Like, I'm glad I didn't have enough money to invest because I would have lost it anyway. So now you are telling yourselves, don't receive, because if you have it, you're going to make stupid choices. Right? Or you did have it, you did invest it, whether I'm using Bitcoin because it's like fresh on my mind. I mean, the same thing happens in stock market, right? Like stock market just plummeted 2 weeks ago. It's going back up. Who knows what's going to happen? Nobody knows. But like, what if you did make some investments there and then you're like, and you don't have a proper support to help you see what's going on, all of a sudden you are spiraling down thinking, oh my gosh, when I have extra, then I don't know how to invest it wisely. And look what happens. And now I don't have it. And if I didn't invest it, then I would still have it and I could hold on to it. Baloney, because guess what? If you hold on to it, you're stifling the energy of money, and money likes to flow.
Yeah, it does.
And the value of it diminishes constantly right now in America, right? Like we are in a deflation state in the market, right? The value of dollar is going down, down, down by a minute.
Yeah.
May as well invest in something that's going to grow, like yourself. I love investing in myself. I've invested more in myself than anything else over the last decade. And I don't regret one penny invested, not even one, because who I am today and what I'm able to stand in the face of, how I'm able to handle situations, how I'm able to make decisions. And no matter what happens with me around me, like right now, a decade ago, I might have, probably even a decade ago, I might have still been in a little bit of despair, right? I still remember 2008, what happened. And I might have been in like, oh my God, I don't want to be in that place again. But I know better. I know that we can create our own economy. I actually would love all of us to take on that we can create our own economy, because if money is energy, and if I value the frequency and the energy that I'm here to exchange, then all I have to do is be in that space, contribute, and trust and serve the people who are showing up in front of me, wanting what it is that I am delivering, and then be willing to receive in exchange the money that they are willing to pay.
Yeah.
Right? And then be in a high integrity of delivering what I promised.
Absolutely.
Right?
What if somebody has a block to receiving money? So they're like, I can contribute, I can give, but I'm actually afraid to receive.
Yeah, just receive it. So there are
Just say yes, just open your arms.
yeah, seriously. So I used to work. It really is like that. So this is the funny thing, Abby, right? Like there are things we could do. And years ago, I played with receiving, and I could recommend things that I used to recommend, right? Like learn to receive. So I used to live in Manhattan, and every corner on Manhattan, people hand out pamphlets to things, right? They just like, pieces of paper, 20% off sale today, gets free slice of pizza, hey, free, delivery, whatever. Every corner
Right.
you turn around, people give pamphlets. And I don't want it because I don't want most of the things that they are trying to sell. But while I was
Yeah.
training myself to receive, I'd say I cannot say no to it. I'm just going to say yes to every single pamphlet and just be grateful for receiving it. Even if I don't want it, maybe hand it to somebody else, at least put it in a recycling bin, because most people would just put it in a trash. I'll be better at put it in a recycling bin, right? But then I started to work with a mentor, and he said, those are great ways to play with receiving, absolutely playing that way. But the only way that you heal and really feel the pain enough to transmute it, the pain of receiving money enough to transmute it, is to receive it. First, ask for it, be in a pain of rejection, love yourself through it, and then stay in it until and somebody will, because you constantly, as you are asking for it and people are saying no, no, it's too much money, no, whatever, right? You be with rejection, rejection, rejection. If you keep staying and keep your frequency up, dust yourself off, all the energetic, work we can do. So it's dusting off in a very spiritual and ritual way, right? There are things I do after every conversation, whether it worked or didn't, especially if it didn't. I bless the person, I bless the conversation, and I bless the next person who's coming. And
Wow.
then if you stay in that frequency, then the person will say yes, and then you receive it. And then you be with all the discomfort. You be with all your body's discomfort, like you did something wrong, like you just robbed somebody. Your mind will tell you that you robbed somebody, you did something wrong, you're a bad, bad person. How could you? Oh, yeah. You're going to want to give your firstborn for a minute, right? Like I don't even have children, but, I probably should have one just to give it away because but it's like our programming will tell us that. And if we just stay in it, not judging it, but be like, oh wow, how fascinating, how fascinating, how fascinating, and hold the frequency of the value of what you just invited somebody into, and they were willing to trust themselves enough to say yes. How dare you rob them of that gift by being in your own crap about why it's not okay to receive it, right? So
Totally.
if you be with it, it's going to heal the wounds very quickly. It really is the fastest way.
Wow, that's amazing. I just love it. You're like, just receive it.
Yeah,
And then you follow with be with everything that comes
yeah,
with it, right? Just watch it. But
yeah,
it's like, yeah, it's beautiful to hear that it's normal and natural to feel those type of
yeah,
things. It's okay. It's not that you did something wrong, even if you feel that way. It's
yeah.
just like, okay. And one of the things that I often do is place my hand on my heart and then my gut. So I'm actually connected to the truth of
Yeah.
my intuition. Like I was sharing
Mhm.
with you, your piece of you have a lot of truth, but one of the things you said of, success is the only option.
Yeah.
Like my heart and my gut can feel the truth. So when our minds can try to say things, like you said, it's like, well, just that's interesting. Watch that. Okay. But
Mhm.
as you keep one hand on your heart, the other hand on your belly, you're centered in that knowing. And we just talked to somebody. So Christian and I started something called the intuitive child, I think I told you about. So we talked to
Mm.
one of the families in Switzerland yesterday, and I guess the daughter got really afraid or something, and she couldn't find her mom. Something happened, and she was just kind of upset. But what she did is she connected to her intuition,
Yeah.
and she knew she was
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
And so it was such a beautiful example of like, even children know they're okay when they're
Yeah.
connected to that truth within them
Yeah.
of the intuition,
Mhm.
right? So you're okay, even
Mhm.
if there's thoughts going through your mind or emotions that make you feel like shit. It's like, no, actually, I'm okay because I'm connected to the truth of me.
Yeah.
And for me, since I was like 19, right, I was like, I'm going to follow the truth within me, not what society says, not what they say,
Yeah.
not like, oh, you need to get a degree. I'm like, yeah, I left a scholarship. Okay, good. I'm in my truth. And now, hey, you're going to come pay me. And they did. So it's kind of funny when you have that confidence that's it's real. It's not made up because you are it. So if you can all just take a moment to connect to your heart, to your gut, to feel that truth, that is, I think, what Anna calls purpose to prosperity. That is
Mhm.
intuition to income. That
Yeah.
is like you manifesting spirit of love through you, right?
Yeah.
Because the other thing that I want to just remind people is what you said, Anna, was, you value yourself. Not just you love
Yeah.
yourself, you value
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
And it's an internal thing because like no matter how many amazing results I help get clients get, it's still about me valuing myself, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like we can say all the external, but do you value yourself enough to say, hey, I am worth it and I choose to have this life of prosperity and love
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
contributing because
Yeah.
that's the energy exchange.
Yeah. What's really beautiful just came in, so I'm going to share it with the audience because I believe it's going to support us.
Yeah.
I was in two different, well, three different, but two will be the ones that I'll bring in. I was in two different market shifts where industries exploded and collapsed. It was in a dot-com era and mortgage era. And what happened at the time is that a lot of people got into the industry because it was easy money, right? And
Mhm.
when the bust came, right, the people who were true to their work in integrity, those were the ones who flourished. The reason why I bring it up is because we are, right? We are in this space where, I mean, let's face it, every other person is a healer, a coach, a guide in this industry. Many are beautiful souls that are here in integrity to deliver gifts that actually make a difference. Many just saw it as an easy money. Doesn't mean they don't have the gifts, but they just do it in a way that's not aligned with their truth. So what's going to happen at this time, because that's what the place we are in right now, it will flash out all the people who are in it just for the money, who are in it because it's easy, because it is easy, right? Like it's really easy to sell to a monkey, and that's what our brain is, our monkey brain, right? Like, give me this and I will buy into it because you're giving me something that right now will help me feel better in this moment. But that's not the work we do. Like, even intuition is a long-term game, right? So the people who are doing it in integrity, who are aligned with their highest truth, who are aligned with their intuition and their knowing. And when you're aligned with your intuition, when you're knowing, you're aligned with the oneness, you connected with oneness, which means whatever you contribute serves the person, but the highest good of all involved, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the ones that will now flourish, right?
Yeah.
So the whole conversation of purpose to prosperity, intuition to income, creating what it is we are meant to create at the highest level,
Yeah.
delivering it to the people who are waiting for it, and allowing ourselves to receive
Yeah.
will make us grow and be more visible so we can be beacons and get into that space that was filled up by people who didn't do it with integrity. Nothing wrong with them. They'll find something else to do. They'll be
Yeah.
the next industry with easy money.
Yeah.
That's not why we're here.
Yeah. No,
Right?
yeah. I mean, I made a very powerful decision where I could not continue working with an organization that was out of integrity. And
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing because it's like I have people like you and just circle is full of integrity and love, but it takes it's a value system, right? And it's like when you're in
Yes.
alignment and you're
Mhm.
following your intuition, for me, it's very hard not to because it knows the truth, right? And
Yeah.
so it's like I can't. I even told my partner, it's like I can't lie to myself. Like my heart knows the truth, like
Yeah.
I have to express or I choose
Yeah.
to usually express that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, that's a whole other conversation. I'm like, bring on babies. He's like, oh my God. So it's just kind of like it happens to be that's mine, right? But everybody has
Yeah.
their own. But I think integrity, I just love that you mentioned that because it's just so beautiful to me because it's light. To me, it's purity, it's light, it's love. And to hear somebody like you who I deeply respect say, hey, like this is what's happening,
Mhm.
like I feel like I usually go through things personally right before the collective does. So I'm like, why do I need to like have these, actual experience of these premonitions happening? And I think it's because then I have the experience to have compassion and love for people because I'm like, oh yeah, I experienced that too. I get you.
Yeah.
And it is okay. It is
Mhm.
more than okay to choose integrity. It's a real powerful
Absolutely.
choice to make in the midst of a lot of different choices. Um,
Yeah.
So to know you're supported, and I think that's what I needed to hear. Like you are supported in the oneness of life, right?
Yeah.
Itself through you,
Mhm.
because you're going to attract other people in that same frequency. And so when you said flush out the old, yeah, they're being released, so the new space comes in for those
Yeah.
people that are matching your frequency, which is exchange, like
Yeah.
what you said, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
have that money
Mhm.
follow it, to support you in the physical. I think if we think of money as a thing to support us in the physical world,
Yeah.
to me, it's a very grounded. It's just a very
Mhm.
grounded energy. I think that's
Yeah.
why I teach money. Is it's like I feel grounded in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's the medium of this. You can't use money on Mars, not that
Yeah,
I know of,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
unless we bring it there. But
yeah, yeah,
it's the medium of exchange on this planet that we humans have created. It's not the energy of it is spirit. Yes, the energy behind it is spirit, but the tangible money,
yeah.
right, is, and even when it's electronic, right? So let's say we don't
Yeah.
have any dirty physical money anymore. By the way, money isn't
Dirty
dirty.
physical. It's not dirty. Come on,
Well,
Anna.
money, but if you think about it, right, like money isn't dirty, but it's dirty. How many people
How
touch
many
the
people touch it?
money? Yeah,
Oh,
right.
think about all the love that touches through their
But
hands. I mean,
that's the
just reframe,
but
right?
that's the energy. But see, you don't want to hear it because of the whole idea that money is dirty, right? That's not what I'm saying, right? Like the piece of paper is dirty. I don't want to. Somebody could have
Mm.
wiped their butt with it for all I know. Crazy as it sounds. So I know. I like having fun with it. So I mean, I have a quarter. I'm actually bringing it to the bank because they have a shortage and I have a hole. I'm like, why do I still have this? Like this coin here, like it's been on the ground many times. Let me just say why I say it, all right? I'm
Yeah, yeah,
saying this
you're fine.
because, yeah, I'm saying this because it's becoming more and more electronic exchange of money, right? So it's not even about the physical representation of it. It represents something physical on this physical planet, right? It's a symbol of exchange.
Right.
It used to be shells. Give me 5 shells and I'll give you a chicken. I mean, even before that, it used to be bartering, right? And you
Yeah,
couldn't, which is so silly. That's why we created something, a symbol that we can all agree on a value of. Because if you wanted something from me that I make, but I didn't want whatever it is you wanted to give me, then you couldn't have what I have because you didn't have anything of value to me to exchange. So now you had to go to somebody who wants what you want, and maybe I want what they want, what they have, and now it's triangle, right? So if you know history of money, that's how it used to work, right? So that's why we brought in money. It was shells, it was seeds, and then we said, hey, a pound of seeds is worth a cow, and if you
yeah.
have a pound of seeds, you can get the cow. Great, right? And then
Yeah,
we
no, it
said, okay,
works. It
yeah,
softens
seeds.
the energy. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is the energy. So the more that we can work with all the stories we have around money, all the stories that we have about receiving and having and being stewards of it. Some people, okay, spiritual bypass about money. I don't care about it. It just always comes to me. That's a spiritual ignorance and a bypass. What if it always comes to me? But because it always comes to me, I learn how it works in this world so I can be a responsible steward of it. So even more can come to me because when I'm a responsible steward, the energy wants to come to me because I know what to do with it, right? That's when I
Totally.
that's when I started to learn about like what do I do with money? Like how do I do it? Even
Yeah.
if along the way I lose some of it, it doesn't matter because I'm learning something that I can bring forward to do with more when it comes to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Huh.
I yeah,
I
go
mean,
ahead.
I was thinking about our bodies, right? Like we are stewards of our, but then we take care of our bodies, right? It's kind of like the same thing with money,
Yeah,
right? Like you're taking care of it, you're
yeah,
sustaining it, you're
yeah.
making it, healthy.
Yeah, I mean, we take care of our. So I know we're all spiritual in this space. Every viewer, right? We have a certain ritual around how we care for our frequency, how we care for our connection, right? Whether we have the ways of connecting in a minute, whether we have a whole morning ritual, which I love and I have, right? Whatever it looks like, in some way, we consistently put attention on it and we expand it. We go to retreats, right? We go to retreats, we go, right? Because we care about our frequency and our spirit. What if, right? Like, what if, because a lot of people don't care about their bodies, unfortunately. You and I do because we know it's a temple. We know that the more I care about my body, the healthier the frequency I can hold, the more I can hold it. Same thing is with money, right? Like, what if the energy of money, what if I had rituals in place, ways that I show that I value that energy, the ways that I show that I want to keep expanding it, right? Because I keep learning about it. It's the same thing. And those are the ways that we start to open up to receive more.
Yeah. I love that.
More
Yeah.
comes when I take on an identity of a steward of it.
Yeah.
I keep, that's the question that I'm with all the time. Show me what to learn so I can be a more responsible steward, so more can come to me. I know I am a space of a ton more. And I'm going to bring in something else because I know you work with teams. I love somebody said this, and I can't remember who. Just a few days ago, I heard somebody say this. And I heard this 4 years ago. Those of us who are awakened enough to participate in the economy in a new way, which is connected to intuition, to purpose, to spirit, with integrity, we have responsibility to create new economy. And now we have responsibility to employ the people who are lost in the old economy because their jobs are gone, their source of income is gone, they haven't made the leap into the new economy, the new way of being. We have responsibility to employ them. It's actually a responsibility to employ, create jobs, create this new economy in a whole new way.
Yeah. I love it.
Right? So imagine if somebody's sitting there right now watching and thinking, oh, I just want to pay my bills. I just want to pay my bills. What if we expanded a consciousness of wait, just a step beyond it? I am willing to receive what I need and more so I can actually take care of somebody else who will fulfill something in my business to serve my clients better.
Yeah. I mean, that's key for me. I always have to serve something beyond myself because it feels better to me. So I think
Yeah.
I posted something about this a long time ago, like dream a dream that's bigger than yourself because it naturally will expand you, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
The other thing that kept coming through is just holding money itself, like, getting a couple $100 out of your bank account, just holding it and feeling the frequency. It makes it
Yeah.
more real because it is so electronic lately.
Yeah.
Like people go like
Mhm.
Venmo you money, like Zelle money, whatever. It's like great. And like to actually feel like kinesthetically what's being exchanged.
Yeah.
And just remember it is that exchange, that frequency of you,
Hmm.
right? It just happens to be coming through that
Yeah.
money, and send it like with love and receive it with love. Like they're
Hmm.
just such a different soul exchange. Um,
Yeah.
and
Can't, but be,
people know at a soul level that they're feeling called to work with you, and
yeah.
you're feeling called to serve them, and you
Yeah.
can help them.
Yeah.
You know?
And the more you stand in the value of that,
Yeah,
the more they're stepping into a space of expansion and possibility.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
good.
We're creating a whole new economy, a whole new way of being with the
Yeah,
medium of exchange, which is
yeah,
money. And
it's
we
beautiful.
and we
Yeah.
get to yeah, we get to heal it.
Yeah, totally.
Mhm.
I know you were sharing something you have, and I feel like it already is the prosperity shift from this conversation, but I know
Mm.
there's like continuing work that people can do and tap in with you. Do you want to share a little bit more about like some more tangible things that they can
Mhm.
have or learn more from with the
Yeah. Yeah. So do you want me to talk about the prosperity shift now?
Yeah, yeah, and also I
Yeah.
wanna expand that because I know what that is. So, like, what she's gonna share with you, and also, to work with either one of us on prosperity shifting one-on-one, just mind work, having
Yeah.
sessions, because I think there's nothing better than the integration,
Mhm.
um, of having a coach that can actually work
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
So I just kind of want to open that. If you want to,
Mhm.
share your email, you can email our team at success@lifeforceconnection.com. But for Anna, like if you can actually share your email, people can reach out in addition
Yeah.
to this amazing thing that you've created called the Prosperity Shift. That would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So let me just say this. There are some coaches I pay just to be in their space energetically.
Yeah.
I want to be in the space energetically that they are in. So I pay to work with them. And one is a group, it's a group experience. So I don't even have any one-on-one time. But I invest because I want to be in that energy, because that person that I'm paying is a very expansive, right?
Yeah.
They are in a space, they are in that space. I'm like, you know what? Then I'm going to take money.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell money, hey, we are expanding by being
Yeah.
in this space. So I'm going to allocate you here. right?
Yeah.
So to your point of working with, I absolutely, in whatever way possible, especially those of you who are watching right now, so many people are unfortunately in a conversation of lack or around the conversation of lack. And even if they are themselves working intentionally on expanding their consciousness around money. If everybody around you is living in the old paradigm, then you make one step forward and then you roll down with the rock of everybody else's heaviness, right?
It's true.
So being in a space of somebody like you, me, other guests on your show, it is
Yeah.
beyond valuable. No, just being in the space energetically
Yeah.
is worth so much. Okay, let me just
It
say
really,
that.
yep.
Yeah,
Amen, sister.
yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
for sure. It
So
is. It's subconsciously we're receiving information beyond words. When you say energy,
yeah,
it's happening. The exchange is happening.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. The exchange is happening, and yeah, just the air we breathe. I know it's just a silly thing to say, but we just is the air we breathe is different when we are in this space.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's talk about the prosperity shift. So there were a few things that I did when I was first learning about like what is money at that spiritual level, right? And there was this beautiful meditation that I recorded that's I am money and putting yourself in a place of money. And I am statement is a creative statement. When I say I begin to embody whatever it is that I say I am, right?
Wow.
So if I am money, right? Like you can play with I am prosperity, but I took it all the way to I am money. And then envisioning when I say I am money, what am I seeing and what does it mean? So you can start shifting and healing it. So it's a beautiful meditation. It's a whole lesson that I did around recreating your relationship with money. So there are steps that I take my clients through about asking themselves, it doesn't matter what level I am at with money, I still keep doing this for myself because there is always the next level.
Yeah.
Always,
Totally.
always. There are
Yep.
many very wealthy people who are scared about losing all their money because they have their own money stuff, right? That's, I mean, you can have all the money in the world and still lose it. But if you're not afraid of it, if you know how money works spiritually, energetically, you know you can make it back. I didn't know it the first 3 times, it just kept happening. And then somebody told me, once it's something that you are in a frequency of, then it's going to be that much easier for you to make it again, to have it again, right?
Yeah.
This time the journey has been a little longer. And I think it's because I am learning all these different ways of stewarding it for the future that I had no idea I would even need to learn. But
Yeah.
it's happening.
The people
So
you're helping. It's also the people you're helping. The journey is longer because you're helping more people in a different way, a more spiritual, grounded way.
yeah,
It's the process. I just see these like hundreds of people following you. It's fascinating because it's who we touch, right? It's the money is
yeah,
the journey of the lives we touch, I
yeah,
believe, and share
yeah,
it with.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So there were there were certain steps that I still continuously take myself through. I led a group through it once, and this is just the example that comes through right now. I led through a group through this exercise, and one of the women was there and she just lost her business. She didn't know what she was going to do next, and out of nowhere, quote unquote, because it's not ever out of nowhere, she received a letter from a company that said, hey, you used to work for us and you had these stocks that have vested and there is like a couple 100,000 waiting for you. How would you like it delivered? Where can we wire it to? What?
Wow, that's amazing.
Right? So it now this is not a claim that it's not a guarantee, right? Because we are all in different places. That's not a thing. People are like, if I do this thing, money will come. Everybody's in a different place. So we have to have grace with our journey and have compassion with where we are, where we've been, and where we're going. We have no idea why sometimes the journey takes longer and what we are being prepared for. And when we get there, the things we have learned will be exactly what we need. And if you're learning more than somebody else next to you, and that's why your journey is longer because you're learning more, then that just means you are going to be responsible for a lot more. And that's not a comparison either, right? But there is a pretty good chance you will be responsible for a lot more because you need to acquire so much more along the way, be prepared for so much more, right?
I love that. I literally had that thought earlier. I think yesterday. That's why I told you I feel things before they happen. But like, he's like, what am I learning? That I'm going to look back and be like, I needed to learn that
Mhm.
and that and that, to be
Yeah.
where I am. Like it was
Yeah.
just this total awareness of what you said.
Yeah.
Um, so there's nothing against you. There's some learning, there's some depth, there's some expansion happening on your
Yeah.
journey.
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with that. There are
Yeah.
some things we could definitely do to speed up, some ways of being, some practices like, the more uncomfortable I am willing to be in a moment, the more of a leap I can make. For sure. That's true. I've experienced this, right? But don't judge your journey based on somebody else's or based on where you think you should be because you are a certain age. And the book of life says by 45, you should have blah, blah, blah.
Whose book is that? I'm writing a new one.
I know, right? I know. I don't know. Somebody said it, and then everybody lives based on that. Like, oh, I'm so old. No, you're not. But if you live for another 30 years, you know how much you can
Right.
contribute?
Right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that. Just thinking of money as a contribution, that just feels so good. Like how much energetic exchange can I give? So I'm
Hmm.
contributing that much more. And in essence, receiving is the other part of that because you have to receive to be able to give. Like you have
Yeah.
to eat to be able to have the energy to give.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
full circle.
How much fun is it to pay for things you love,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh my God, when I see like a custom ring and I'm like, oh my God, I definitely want to like
Yeah.
pay this artist for their energy and this beautiful thing they created, right? Or have beautiful candles all around you, right? I'm gonna smell this one because this one, it's an obsidian, smells really good.
Oh, yeah. I can like
Right?
smell it through the screen.
I
I was
know.
like, I could feel the essence of it.
Delicious. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like we just have an obligation to heal all that we can along the way of our journey and have a much better relationship with money, recreate our relationship with money, learn how to make it flow, learn how to be okay having a lot of it and being a responsible, intuitive steward of it, right? So we can channel it to the projects of the new earth, right? What if you could invest in a farm right now that in 5 years, when we have tremendous food shortages, I'm not saying it's going to happen, it could happen tomorrow, I don't know, but I'm saying, where are we going as humanity, right? You better have a
Yeah.
farm. But what if
Yeah.
you could what if you could buy into a farm? You don't have to work it. What if you could pay somebody to work it, and or in exchange of them working it, they could live, who knows, right? But you actually had money to invest in things that are for the future, right?
Yeah.
Like I was talking to my boyfriend this morning. I know I'm going longer, but I have so much to say.
No, it's fun. I was like, it's just such a great conversation. We can go as long as we need.
There are technologies for recycling water in healthy ways, right? So we don't rely on those sources that we have right now of water, because those are running out. I mean, look at the news. Like there is a lot happening right now in parts of the world that is affected by drought, right? Increasingly so. So but there are technologies out there right now. People are learning and creating opportunities to take water from places that it's there right now, but it's not healthy to drink, and clean it up and have it
Yeah.
be available, right?
Yeah.
What if a responsible, like, and that's what I'm looking at. I was just talking to him about it. I'm like, wow, like I want to have a certain amount of money to, like, say, I want to invest in this company. I won't see a return for the next few years, but I'm putting money into something that I know is for the future, and it's going to serve me financially because I believe in it, right? And I also know that it's going to serve a lot of other people while it's happening. So what if I had a sum of money that I could just put it there, not even think about it, that it's going up or down or whatever it's doing, it's serving a purpose that's long term for the future of the earth.
Mhm.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah. Sustainable. I mean, it's just, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the way that we get to start reshaping our minds.
Yeah.
And that's why we get to start thinking as entrepreneurs, as business owners,
Yeah.
because employee mindset doesn't think that way. Employee mindset thinks, how much raise can I get over the next 10 years so I can retire in 20?
Yeah.
That's not the way, that's not where we are anymore. And we get to start shifting that mentality. And the faster we shift it for the consciousness of the collective, the faster we can start being in that creative, abundant,
Mhm.
joyful
Mhm.
frequency of
Mhm.
humanity.
Yeah.
Yay.
I love it. It's so good. So, so good. So amazing. Thank you so much, Anna. God, it's such a gift to share. So, where can they get the link to
Okay,
the prosperity shift and also your email, my love?
great. Okay, so my email is Anna, ANNA, at Anna, Kowalska, Kowalska.com. I know.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
and it goes directly to me, so I will actually get it. Sometimes
I
my assistant.
literally still cut and paste your name every time I send it because I'm
I know.
always like trying to spell your name correctly. So
I
just
know.
I'm glad
It's a
you spelled
I know.
it.
It's a
It's a
thing.
thing.
It's a thing. Totally. And so do you have do we have any links, or do you want me to say the link to them? I'm not ready to say
Um,
the link to the offer, to the bundle.
yeah, that's okay. How about they just email you and then you can send them the link to the offer if you're
Yeah,
okay with that, and then also have
that's
the
fine.
conversation because my sense is there's going to be people that want to talk with you, because
Yeah.
I know it's just a
Yeah.
really powerful place to be. So yeah, I think that's going to be the best if you're
Yeah,
open to that.
awesome. Yes, so just email me for the prosperity bundle. It's the pieces that I mentioned before. It's the next, wherever you are, it's the next place to take to have a healthy relationship with money, start healing the wounds so you can have a healthy relationship with prosperity in general, and a huge part of it being money. So it's Anna@annakowalska.com.
Yeah. This is so funny, but just one more thing I have to say. This was years
Say it.
ago. My mom said something about like imagine that money is like your lover. And I just think about like my relationship. Like, how would you want to
Mhm.
be with money? Like
Yeah.
really like treat it like a relationship. Like
Mhm.
you want to hold it, you want to care for it, you want to value, you want to like invest into it, like all of
Yeah.
it, right? Like there's so
Yeah.
many beautiful ways to look at it. So as an action plan, like I really invite you all to just get some cash and hold it and just like talk with it, right? So you're
Yeah.
actually in this
Mhm.
constant energetic exchange and relationship with money. I think it just would be
Yeah.
a really powerful thing to do.
Yeah, for
So,
sure. So
yeah.
great. Oh, I love this conversation, Abby.
So good. Well, love, love, love you, Anna. And thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We're just happy you're here and just grateful that you are just sharing your gifts and willing to actually monetize them and be the
Mhm.
change it I pretty much am sure we all want to see on this planet. So
Yeah, for sure.
lots
Mwah.
of love. All right. Bye, you guys.